Coming up on OU Nightly, we have another round of storms. How much rain are we expecting? I'll have the details coming up.
You can't love your country only when you win.
And President Biden speaks for the first time since the election results. Plus, remembering the goodest boy to visit campus this football season. This is OU Nightly.
We're watching OU Nightly. I'm Abigail Franklin.
And I'm Brett Griggs. We begin tonight with concerns about another wave of rain headed towards Oklahoma.
That's right. And with all that rain on the way, we've got to get right over to our meteorologist, Scotty Allen. Scotty, we've had so much rain already.
Yeah, that's right. We've had so much rain from those weekend rounds of storms that we saw Saturday, Sunday through Monday. We had almost 4.5 inches of rain here in Norman and almost 6 inches of rain up there in Oklahoma City, which is well above average for this time of year. Usually around this month of November, we have around almost 2 inches of rain for the whole month, but we saw almost 6 inches of rain there in Oklahoma City. So now looking ahead, we've got a flash flood outlook for going into this evening and into tomorrow, another flash flood risk. And then as you see, I'll be having ahead of our flash flooding risk or the rainy Friday, those timings, and fall-like temperatures will be returning.
Right. Thanks, Scotty. Less than 48 hours after a Trump victory and current President Joe Biden addresses Americans, OU Nightly's John Hornack has been following the president's speech and brings us highlights from the newsroom.
This afternoon, President Biden congratulated President-elect Trump and emphasized the integrity of the electoral process.
Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory, and I assured him that I would direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve.
He has invited Trump to the White House to begin transition talks, and the visit could happen as early as next week. The president told his supporters to keep the faith and continue to believe in the ideals of his administration, regardless of the election's outcome.
Much of the work we've done is already being felt by the American people, but the vast majority of it will not be felt over the next 10 years.
According to the World Bank, the Biden administration leaves behind the strongest economy in the world and oversaw a decisive recovery from COVID. Reporting for OU Nightly, I'm John Hornack.
Thanks, John. And on the other side of the aisle, many things factored into President-elect Donald Trump's victory this week. Gaylord News reporter Ireland Fitzer has a report on some of these factors from Washington.
With the presidential seat filled, some Americans are still reeling from these results. Now, in some areas, it came as no shock that President Trump won, including the full red state of Oklahoma. But there were a few turns that the Harris campaign didn't quite anticipate.
The most stark shift was among Hispanics, that was a margin that Democrats used to carry by 20 percentage points or more.
The Hispanic vote was one that the Democrats had held pretty tight, but it was not the only demographic the party lost.
He did better with Latinos, Latino men specifically, Black men specifically, and the youth, younger men specifically as well.
And the Democratic Party had a setback from the beginning with the late switch of their candidate pick, but also missing the mark on what some voters had their minds on.
They're voting based on their pocketbook. They're voting based upon a gallon of gas costing more than it did 2 years ago.
And when people are unhappy within their own country, changes are more than likely to come.
Consumers don't feel good about the state of the economy, about the direction the country is headed in. And when that's the case, the thumb on the scale, like the incumbent party is likely to lose. And we've seen that in the last 3 elections now, right? We just keep flipping control.
As far as Congress goes, the Republicans won the Senate, leaving Oklahoma's 2 senators to gain more power as members of the majority. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Ireland Fitzer, Gaylord News.
With Republicans in the White House and in control of the Senate, they now have more power for some of their own agenda items. OU Nightly's Willie Gillespie is monitoring the House of Representatives results right now, and he has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center.
Yeah, that's right, Abigail. The House of Representatives is still up for grabs this evening, with the GOP 8 seats away from the 218 seats needed for majority. Control of the House would give a party the power to initiate spending legislation and impeachment proceedings. If Republicans can secure the House of Representatives, they'll have firm control of Congress after they gain the majority in the Senate as well. The Federal Reserve approved a second consecutive interest rate cut by 0.25%, bringing borrowing costs down. This comes after the steeper 0.5% cut in September. Chairman Jerome Powell said in a press conference this afternoon he was confident in the strength of the economy and the labor market, with inflation seeping down to 2%. And fueled by strong winds and dry conditions, a wildfire near Ventura County, California has burned nearly 15,000 acres in just the last 24 hours. Firefighters say more than 100 people are under evacuation orders right now, and the fire continues to spread rapidly. Investigators say they don't yet know what caused the fire. It's been a busy day in Washington and across the country. We'll keep following it. Abigail, Brooke, back to you.
Thanks, Willie. We'll be thinking about them. Breaking news just into the newsroom. 3 people arrested and charged in connection with singer Liam Payne's death. That, according to Argentina's public prosecutor, the former One Direction star fell from the balcony of a Buenos Aires hotel on October 16th. 2 people were charged with supplying narcotics, and another person was charged for abandoning Payne after he died.
Back here in Oklahoma, Oklahoma City is opening 2 tornado outreach offices for those impacted by Saturday evening storms. The city says the offices will help residents help them access, social services and learn about the rebuilding process. Embark will provide free transportation from neighborhoods affected to the centers. Information about fencing, demolition, debris removal, utilities, and more are all available. The centers are at Harmony Christian Church and Wynwood Free Will Baptist Church, and they open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. today and tomorrow.
And a lockdown is lifted after sheriffs investigate an incident at Elmore City Public Schools this morning. According to a Facebook post, the Garvin County Sheriff's Office say safety is their top priority. The sheriff's report says that the school is safe and students may return to their regular schedule.
Well, coming up next, we're meeting a new furry friend in this week's Pet of the Week.
Yeah, stick with us to see why this pup could be the perfect addition to your family.
And the OU football injury report finally has some changes.
Fans could be seeing some old faces stepping on the field for the first time in quite a while. Coming up next.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, Collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Well, a dog at Norman Animal Welfare needs your help in finding a place to call home. OU Nightly's Savannah Simmons tells us more about Rumble and the ways you can help pets from your community in today's Pet of the Week.
Let's get ready to rumble. Meet Rumble, a 5-year-old mixed breed pup with an energetic personality.
I think for Rumble, just his personable personality. He really likes people. But he's also going to go and play independently. So he's got that nice mix of go and have independent play, but come and get those loves and those cuddles and that playing with the toy.
Stephanie Adams Hawkins, the adoption coordinator for Norman Animal Welfare, has spent many months getting to know Rumble. And she says that his fun energy can match any type of home.
He does have a lot of energy, but that energy is very well managed when he's in an appropriate environment. You can see he's going to be a dog that's going to be fun to play with, but also kind of chill out when it's time to chill out also.
Stephanie urges everyone to add a family member from a local shelter and give a chance to a pet in need, especially one like Rumble, who's been waiting quite a while.
Whoever gives him that chance is going to be really surprised at how great of a dog they're getting.
For OU Nightly, I'm Savannah Simmons.
Well, if you or someone you know is interested in Rumble or any other pets from Norman Animal Welfare, you can find them on their website, or you can also call the center at the number on your screen. All right, well, we want to dedicate today's Pet of the Week segment to a very special pet.
One who visited us earlier this year, actually, Ben Herbstreit. He was the beloved golden retriever of ESPN Game Day host Kirk Herbstreit. Ben was by Kirk's side this season, traveling to each site Game Day visited. He was here on campus for the Sooners' first home game in the SEC against Tennessee when Game Day broadcasted from the South Oval.
The Sooners welcomed him to campus with a box of doggy toys and even his own press pass. But unfortunately, Ben was diagnosed with cancer and received the very best care. But Kirk posted on social media earlier this week that Ben had lost control of his hind legs. Today, Kirk posted that Ben passed away.
One thing is for sure, no matter what team college football fans cheer for, they all loved Ben. Our hearts go out to Kirk Herbstreit and his family.
We're wearing the Ben stickers. You can see them right here on us, as well as a few other people in our studio. The university gave us these on Saturday when he visited. And as we close out Pet of the Week, we ask that you consider giving a pet in need a home.
And still ahead, a recent study finds a new way to lower your blood pressure, and it can take place anywhere.
That's absolutely right. Find out how you can lower yours in a matter of minutes when you're stressed out when OU Nightly continues.
On the way for Norman campus, how much rain are we expecting? I'll have that coming up in Maine weather.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and to support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. As we see here from the Weather Center cam looking down southwest, we can see these rainstorms are starting to make their way towards campus and central Oklahoma. So as right now, we're sitting around 65 degrees, feeling pretty nice and fall-like outside. So right here across the state, we're mainly in the 60s and 70s, but you can see this lower pressure system of cold air coming through. That's going to be what's going to be providing all of our rain and moisture to come for our next rounds of rain. So as we saw from this weekend, we had about an inch of rain on Saturday, 3.5 inches on Sunday, another 1.5 inches on Monday. So we've had a lot of rainfall from the last few days, and more rain seems to be coming for this weekend, Thursday and Friday. So that rainfall has actually helped our drought out for most of the state. We were actually in an extreme, almost exceptional drought there down by Lawton. Now it's in a severe, but more rounds of rain to come. So hopefully that will reduce our drought and fire risk for the rest of the month. And as we go we got that flash flood outlook for tonight into tomorrow for most of the state. So slight risk of flash flooding possible. And then right now we have current flash flood advisories for most of western Oklahoma. So we got Lawton under that flash flood advisory, and just a county over from Cleveland County is under that flash flood advisory. So it's just from the National Weather Service, and it's just enough for be alert of flash flood, but it's not enough to have a flash flood warning. So we'll be continuing to monitor that throughout the night. Now as we go with the future cast, these rounds of rain are going to be starting around tonight, going through spotty showers into this evening. Most of that rain is going to be off to the west for most of the day tomorrow. Spotty showers around campus coming through. That last round of rain will be coming through around 9 p.m. tomorrow night, and then we'll be in the clear for the weekend and next week of rain. So we're going to be having quite a bit of rain, though, with this round of storms. So we're looking at around 1.5 inches for the Oklahoma City metro, but looking just to the west, we're already seeing possible triple that amount. So there's a possibility that the storms could shift eastward. We might be having almost the range of 1 to 5 inches of rain possible with this setup, and that will be going up with the rain that we had this past weekend. So flash flooding concerns on campus are going to be main priority. And as we see here for tomorrow, if you're going around campus, we're going to be having a rainy day. So make sure to have that umbrella. Make sure to be careful on the roads because of the flash flood risk that we're going to be having. So definitely want to be wary of those flash flood risks throughout most of the day. And then as we look ahead for our 7-day forecast, we've got rain Friday, but then we're going to be having that sunshine return for this weekend. We're going to be around the 60s and then going mid-60s as we go across the week and into next week. So we're going to be having those average like temperatures for this month of November. Definitely feeling a lot more fall-like and relief from the heat that we've been having for the last month or so.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like a good forecast is ahead of us. I'm not excited about the wet pattern we have here in Oklahoma, but, you know, we got those cool temperatures. I'm excited. We've been talking about fall all the time.
I know. I don't own a rain jacket, but I think it's time to invest in one. All right.
Definitely for this round of rain that we're having.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Scotty. Thanks, Scotty. Now, if this time of year has stressed you out, you may feel like your blood pressure is a bit too high. Lowering it may be easier than you think. A new study in the journal Circulation says just exercising for just 5 more minutes can make you feel better and lower the numbers. The authors say replacing the sedentary time with an activity actually has a positive impact on your health. And it's a busy time in the sports world. An SEC program accomplishes its first, I heard.
And the Oklahoma City Thunder accomplished another first as well. Darby, what else is going on in the world of sports for us?
Well, the OU softball team played against themselves and surprisingly still managed to have a walk-off and a chance in the right direction. To same old injury report could be coming for OU football. QB Jackson Arnold will have more on that next in sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Hello, I'm Darby McCormick, and it's time for sports. I can finally switch up my same old script about the OU football injury report. Thank goodness. This involves two very crucial wide receivers getting possible playtime against Missouri. Deion Burke and Angelo Farouk have both been labeled as questionable. Farouk hasn't played since the very first game of the season. Sooner quarterback Jackson Arnold says it'll be a step in the right direction if the duo is back when OU takes the field Saturday.
It'd be huge. Obviously, two leaders of our offense, two great pieces of the receivers, two of our best receivers that we haven't had in a while, too. So it obviously adds an explosive aspect to our offense and definitely that leadership role, too, that I'm not saying that we need, but, I mean, it's great to have those leaders come back. I feel like we've had dudes step up in their absence, though. I'm super proud of those guys that have stepped up. But, you know, having those leaders back is key for that position group, too.
OU softball's fall season ended with a walk-off from Team Sooner in a 5-4 victory. A total of 3 different Sooners homered during the game. Sam Landry and Peyton Monticelli combined for a total of 8 strikeouts. Like the changing of the leaves, head coach Patty Gasso and the team want to cherish what they have during the fall instead of waiting for spring.
It's a bittersweet because usually I'm like, okay, yeah, fall is done. Yeah, let's be done. I don't want to be done. Like I feel like we still want to keep going, and I think they feel that way too. So that's what's exciting, is the hunger is still there.
Well, OU baseball had a walk-off of their own to finish their fall World Series scrimmages, this walk-off being a home run. Easton Carmichael was the one to do it, bringing home the 2-1 W for the Crimson team, their first win of the fall slate. OU baseball's inaugural season in the SEC will begin February 14th at L. Dale Mitchell Park. And OU men's golf senior Jackson Dowell ran himself into the history books Wednesday, becoming the program's first SEC Golfer of the Week. This accolade made Dowell OU Golf's first week or monthly honoree since March of 2023. He shot rounds of 63, 66, and 67, that 63 being his career low for the native Edmond, Oklahoman. And when the Thunder came rolling into Denver to take on the Nuggets last night, they fell short in a 124-122 loss. Former Thunder player Russell Westbrook had no sense of nostalgia for OKC, with 29 points and 6 assists. This was his best performance as a Nugget so far, in the Mile High City. Abigail, Brooke.
All right, thanks, Darby. Still ahead. You know, you're not going to want to try this item, but you won't believe what just sold from a royal wedding.
All right, find out what Sony's serial item was auctioned off from Queen Elizabeth's special day when we return.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I'm Madison Daly at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Measures are taking place to protect abortion access throughout 7 states in the country. Arizona, Colorado, New York, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, and Nevada citizens have casted ballots on the reproductive rights of their state laws. Citizens in Arizona and Missouri have voted to overturn their state abortion laws. Similar measures are seen to pass in more states throughout the country, leading to a widespread of reproductive care. Abigail Brooke, back to you.
Thanks, Madison, for that update. And a slice of cake from Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip's wedding is now off the market.
And if you didn't know that this was even on the market, you're not alone, because this cake is 77 years old and it's sold for $200.
That is so much money. Take a look at this. The slice is still neatly wrapped and comes with a letter from the Queen thanking the guest.
It is hard to believe that this slice came from a cake that weighed 500 pounds and standing at 9 feet tall, and it survived all this time. It's honestly just quite remarkable to see all that. It's a cake that large and saving a piece like that, I just can't imagine it. But you know, hey, no cake in our forecast this week.
No.
We have rain. We have rain and some cool temperatures. So what can you tell us?
Yeah, lots of rain in our forecast for tomorrow, as we have those rounds of storms coming throughout tomorrow night. But then sunny weekend ahead and fall-like temperatures, so it's going to be feeling like fall. Get those sweaters out, sweatshirts out. It's going to be feeling really nice. So it's going to be nice this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like a really good forecast. Great for here in Norman. Maybe, I don't know what the weather's like in Mizzou, but it could be
cold.
Probably, but hey, that's
cold.
okay.
You know, well, thank you for watching OU Nightly. I am Brooke Griggs.
And I'm Abigail Franklin. Be sure to watch OU Nightly Live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small.